Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gearries Esports Pro League Split 2 Phase 2 Day 2. That's a lot of twos, man. All right,
look, a lot of twos.
But you've only got one handsome gentleman in front of you, and that's Guy Blaze Live. I'm Colin the Crow Clark, still just trying to keep up.
We still got two of those.
I don't know about all that, but we've got another classic matchup coming for all of you on the stream here shortly. It is Noble versus Hive, and this is going to be a good one, Blaze, because these two teams head-to-head, I mean, this is a tale of two teams, and we've seen Hive actually metamorphose themselves into being a Noble-esque team when it calls for it. They can play defense just as good as them, so I can't wait to see the way that these two teams stack up against each other.
And that's a whole reason. That's really the big reason why Hive are your defending champions from the mid-split playoffs, because they already had one style kind of down pat and master, but for a while they had to get the right team combination to master the latter, and that was the defensive play style. And as you said, they have kind of morphed into a slower team. More and so, they morphed into a championship caliber team, a squad that has a perfect balance of both and know when to either pull up the shield or bring out the sword. And that's why Hive, man, they're looking so good now, because the Swarm knows when to stay together and bring out those stingers.
Ooh, baby, you said it perfectly. And here is the head-to-head of these two teams. And right now, I mean, just looking at it, even though Hive even though they won the mid-split playoff, they had a worse win position. Yeah, I mean, you'd have never guessed it from this stat line, but trust what we tell you, if you ain't been here for a while, they're the team to beat.
Let me tell you this, though. This tells two things when I look at this head-to-head. It says that, one, when it comes down to Noble in the regular season, those boys are strong, all right? So they were looking good throughout the regular season at the top of the leaderboards in first position. Now, in the flip end, Hive has that negative 172, and they were in a top 5 position, but they kind of morphed and kind of formed those two play styles towards the back half of the Pro League, right? We kind of saw them evolve into that perfect squad during the weekend of the playoffs. So I think that their record this season can look a little bit differently, but them winning the playoffs was because of the countless effort that they put week in and week out through the Pro League and evolving as a squad, because they wasn't that same playoff team at the beginning of the Pro League.
Well, we're going to find out exactly what kind of teams we're probably going to see tonight, because the pick and bans usually dictate the way these maps are stylized and played out. And here they are in front of you. Vasgar Training Grounds exhibit. Blaze, what stands out to you in that one?
Man, the one map that stands out to me the most, I say when it comes down to Vasgar and exhibit, I'm leaning heavily in favor of Hive. I think Noble got their best map in Training Grounds for map number 2. If they lock in map number 1, they have a great chance of closing out the series. But on the flip end, Hive is really good at Training Grounds as well. So I think Hive looks at this series and say, Vasgar, TG, exhibit, we got this one in the bag, man. We're comfortable on all 3 of those maps. But for Hive, I want to see them pick off where they left off in the playoffs, and not start off slow in this one. I want them to come out, set the dominance and set precedence and show dominance to Noble and be our defending champions. And I think with this cycle, they're going to do just that.
I'll be curious to see if they can continue to show up and show out the way they did in that mid-split playoff. And I mean, they did not play badly at all last night either. They continued on that roll, on that run that we have seen for quite some time. I think this is going to be one of those interesting matchups where maybe Hive finds themselves getting a little lackadaisical in their setups and maybe plays into the strengths of Noble, which is playing into their setups. I would love to see Hive continue to be strong, continue to show that they're the type of champions that we can rely on time in and time out. Only time will tell, though. I think, honest to God, if I go to exhibit, and we've seen what Hive is able to do, where they're able to change the pacing on that map. We've seen that map be very fast. We've seen Hive play it at a snail's pace instead of a couple of bees flying around, which to me would be one of the things that's most scary about that matchup if I'm Noble coming into this one, that if it goes 1-1 and I go to a map 3, I don't know what Hive could pull out of their bag of tricks to come away with that map 3 victory. So this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I'm going to go ahead and start us off this time. You started us off last time. You went with your bold prediction of Empire over Rebel. I don't know if I'm going bold or if I'm going chalk. I'm pretty sure this is considered chalk, especially with the way they've been playing. Shouts out to the perfect soldier. I will always continue to lean on him when I pick this team. It's going to be Solurs. showcasing yet again why he is one of, if not the best player on the planet. Hive, take it over Noble tonight.
All right. Nice. Well, when it comes down to these two guys, I was, thinking about how good Noble is in the pro league. I was thinking about, is Hive gonna get complacent today? Are they gonna get complacent? Yeah, they look good yesterday in their series, but sometimes when you have a young team and they get too comfortable, that they may let some easy wins go out the door. But I don't think it's gonna be this high squad. And I'm gonna pick them to take this one as well. I said it throughout the weekend. I wasn't going against Solurs. I think this Hive team has definitely evolved. And from the loss in which they took in a pro league against the Pittsburgh Knights from last bit, they learned a lot about that one and learned how to be consistent throughout the long stretch of preparing through the league, preparing through a major, and they learned a lot from that. So I think this is a new age for Hive, and I got to go with them to be victorious in this series.
2 for 2 for Hive. So far, the chat and I have been on the same page all night long. Let's see if they stick with both of us this time instead of just myself. The chat has officially said their piece, and they have gone with Hive yet again. So chat and I, same page all night long. You join us again, Blaze. Sooner or later, the gods are going to come back to bite us for continuing to choose with it. I could feel it in my gut that this is going to happen sooner rather than later, but I don't know if it'll be now.
Next series, right?
Yeah, that's right. It might be next series because for now, Hive and Noble, they're marching up. They're going to march on. This is going to be a hell of a matchup between two teams that really have proven themselves to be pretty much dominant titans at times where they can win game after game and showcase the best of their abilities. Just can't wait to see how they decide to take these matchups. As again, you called it earlier, this pick and ban setup, this looks pretty interesting to you because it seemingly favored Hive. So coming into map 1, you need to see Noble kind of start off hot, do you not?
Yeah, you definitely do. Hive knew what they can possibly get out this series against Noble. They made sure that they got Harbor up out of here so they didn't have to deal with those Lancers early on from Noble in their setups. But they're going to force Noble to have to rotate around this map, play to Hive's pace. So that means Noble has to be smarter than Hive. They got to be quicker than them. They got to be a little bit more confident on this Vasgar map, because if you're going to beat Hive, it's going to go down to around number 9. And if it does, they are going to be the Swarm team. So let's see how these two teams are going to fare on Vasgar. This is a great battle. These two squads never disappoint when they go against each other, folks.
Never does disappoint. Noey throws the smoke out. Now you can see the push-up comes through from Hive. They're just trying to check the angles, trying to check for anybody trying to push through. Noble is continuing to play defense here. They have sat back on that stairwell. 2v2 on the opposite side of the map. The down comes through for Hive. TJ trying to get that kill. Shot over the cover. They're going to get the double down yet again. The revives for the team, though, of Noble. They are there, and they are picture perfect. Gearries will have the angle if he comes back through the middle of the map to be able to Lancer out.
And you see the Lancer fire from afar. Because of that extra damage, they're going to see Noble be able to take out Noey. They have a 2v1 against INZEM, but INZEM utilizing that movement to get out, not taking much of any damage. He's going to get himself a nice little 1v1 that he feels confident in, but he gets hit with the flash. Oh, did come though. So the trade-off in kills, it's going to be Xysho versus TJ in this moment. And this is for battle over the A hill, but as I say that, TJ has another player in which he has to take out as well. He got the stun on Xysho, but with a little misroll there, he's not going to be able to extend that fight. Now pressure on top of the C hill for Hive, but luckily for them, they do have the B hill and they can take their time coming back to retake.
Can take their time for now. As you can see, only one hill in favor of Hive. Noble will have the 2-to-1 hill set up yet again. And that is going to make this that much harder for Hive to have to come back into this. They're going to have to play pretty picture perfect if they want to get this triple cap domination, which is what it looks like it's going to have to be. Gearries is going to throw that flash. They're going to chase out against Solurs. Shots in from the middle of the map. Gearries is full red. Solurs get that down there. There's the first kill. But again, Hive loses a player on the opposite side of the map. So even with this hill retake coming through, they're going to lose the B hill here very shortly. And look at the down from across the map on Solurs. That should pretty much wrap this first round up. Noble should come away with round number 1 and strike first here in this matchup.
Beautiful plays there from Noble. They did a great job defending their home hill most of the round. They won the 2v2 initial fight down low at B. Gotta give Gearries a lot of credit for that. And once Noble got their advantage and they understood what that was, they just moved around their team fire, played their numbers, and we never saw Hive able to get control of the map once again. So good job to Noble. They're going to be going over towards their bad side. Hive is on a good side. Let's see what initial we're going to get from both these squads. And when it comes down to that initial too as well, you know, 4 rivals, they can send 3 down low to tank. They can spread out into a 2-2 if they choose to. They can also send 3 up top towards the Sea Hill. It's really going to be their choice. But for Noble, I think 2-2 is going to be the best strategy for them to be able to cover all angles. And we're seeing Hive actually choose to send 3 players up top instead. We'll see how quickly Noble can identify it, and they do it very quickly, because we can tell, because the players down low, they press out, they get a kill, they capture the hill, and now Noble is just going to disengage until help can come on the opposite end of the map. But player 3 got to be careful, because 7's coming off respawn, and he's going to cause some trouble.
See them already getting it down there. On to Xysho. Gearries is going to roll up and try to get this revive, which they do. Here comes Solurs back off a respawn. They're going to pressure INZEM here. INZEM is going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. They're going to try to get this down before Solurs can really make a difference in this fight. Xysho with his 2nd down and out will go down, and if he goes down a 3rd time, that's going to be a straight death for him. Flash out. Here comes Gearries. They're going to lead him in the charge now. Solurs is going to be looking to find one of these 2 kills. Both of the players for Hive that had died previously are going to come to this fight. Noey tries to catch one in the front, but he's not going to get it. He's going to go down. Here comes Gearries. He's going to get cleaned up as well. Hive can't find their footing right now. It looks like Noble is doing a fantastic job of continuing to pressure up on them.
Yeah, I think with that kill coming off the respawn, with them locking in A, Noey sacrifices his life, but that broke the setup there from Noble. Now Hive, they just had to get towards tank fast enough to be able to decap B, and they know that they have a numbers advantage on this side of the map. But Reptile taking 1 was a good job to him, because Noble knows that, hey, it's currently a 3v3 along the map. Just take the numbers, and they know that this can be a cross map at A hill, so they're trying to get there, get the decap. Solurs holding his ground. Noey's going to join him here in the fight, but Noey goes down quickly. TJ wraps around, and his damage right there is going to allow Solurs to get the double kill. So Hive is sitting exactly where they want to be.
They have the B in the A hill. Solurs will be able to check player 2, which is Reptilian, trying to come out from that C hill. It'll be another 10 seconds or so before we see another retake attempt come out. Hive will have the point advantage by then. The linchpin kind of is that player in the middle of the map. TJ's trying to check Xysho, not allow him to have that angle going into the A hill, which he's successfully done. It has actually pushed him back over toward the tank fight, back over to the B hill. So they're going to have a standard 2-2 here in the map. Whoever wins either of these fights should come away with a round, as we are getting closer and closer to that 200-point threshold.
Reptile, he moves in, he goes down quickly, his teammate can't survive, so now the rotation towards C is in effect for Hive, and that means that Noble, they need to get this B hill. Player goes down behind. Xysho able to get the revive on Lob, and if you're a Noble fan, these are the 2 guys what you want, trying to retake the B hill, but the task is too tall, not enough time left in the round, just too much pressure there from Hive, and they're gonna get us all tied up 1-1. And going back there towards the beginning portions of the round, you know, Hive did a good job. They sent majority of their members up top. Rebel, they had to disengage, but when Hive, as soon as they got that lead, they knew exactly what needed to happen. But I will say that Noble, they won some big fights early on, and they kept Hive off balance, but they just could not win that final battle that they needed to get the point lead.
Take a quick second, and I don't necessarily think anybody else is going to find this funny or lighten the mood, but Blaze, don't you just love watching when one player has to deal with absolutely everything that we had in the last few moments of that round right there? Like, he's stuck on that back cover of the tank, and 3 people are just basically walking at him at the slowest pace possible. Like, there's nothing you can do. There's not a thing on this earth.
They played the chunk range so well there, right? And as a player in that position at the disadvantage, you're just like, they just covered every single possible play that I may have had in this moment, and they're not going to allow me to clutch up. So you feel hopeless, but I think as casters, we love to see it, because we see these teams taking their time and really playing to their advantages, and not playing too recklessly and too fast.
see already in this one, Hive has taken an early advantage, which has allowed them to push back against the tide here. You see 2 players from Noble are going to try to rotate over here toward that C hill. Lava's in that 90-degree angle, has a lot of damage to help get that down. They will get the kill onto INZEM as well. Excuse me, as well. Lava's going to push up on a TJ. TJ will go down here. Even with that shot over the top, Noey trying to put damage from across the map here. It's not going to do much, and I'll be curious to see if Hive just continues to try to push back into this off of respawn, forcing Noble to make a retake.
I think it's just, honestly, Noey and Solurs did not have to move there, okay? They just had to wait for their teammates to get in position, and then they would have had those Lancer angles, but instead they said, you know what? Let's just take our 2v2 fight. And press up towards the A hill, and with the information that they're getting at Noble's pressing the other end of the map, I think Noey and Solurs is going to try to take over, take control, and with that down coming through, little extra shot between the gate, they're going to have no issues whatsoever locking in the A hill, but Noble's going to win their battle off the other end, unless TJ has something to say about it. How long can he stay alive for, knowing that these guys got to push him because help is coming, and it will be coming quicker because they're by his spawn side of the map. But Noble will be able to win those battles. They're going to be able to lock in the B hill. We are at a dead tie game here on this map, and Noble looks like in a late game they're going to get the control that they need to be the defensive squad here.
It'll be one more retake attempt. Lava, last shot of the shotgun, will have to reload. TJ trying to play between 2 players, going for back A's and damage, trying to get it down, but won't be able to find anything. Noble is pressed all the way up to Hive's home hill, and I mean, barring a miracle, this is 2-1 Noble going into the last round of the first half. As you can see, more members from Hive falling left and right and center. Triple cap domination will tick on through. Noble answer right on back. I mean, this is back and forth, and this is kind of what we expected as good as Hive played all mid-split playoff. At the end of the day, Noble is no slouch. They are not a team that can get easily rolled over. They still have 4 of the best players on the planet, if you ask me, especially a guy like Lava. I mean, we've seen him bounce around from team to team to team, but every time his name comes out of our mouth, I know most people might laugh and say, you know, they always talk about all the championships he won. Well, I mean, by God, if you won championships, we'd talk about your championships, but you ain't never won them. Lava has.
I will say in the last round, Hive did a good job off the initial winning their fight at Tank. They failed because Noey and Solurs kind of pressed towards the A hill rather than them keeping an angle at C. Because I think that if they would have waited for their teammates to come off respawn, they would have had no issues taking control of their home hill and just holding their side of the map. But we see Hive once again, they love the 3-1 going from A hill to C hill. But if you run that strategy, you have to be quick, Colin. You got to cap this hill up and get a player back to defend a home hill. And Hive knows that, hey, you see how player 9 and 8 drop back to defend it? The timing was perfect because once they watched the 2 Noble members go to the spawn, they knew that they can get back there. But Xysho gets a beautiful shot, and a point blank acquires the 3rd down. He's looking for the 4th. They know where TJ is. A hill's locked in, B hill's locked in, and now the home hill will be acquired. Noble is going to shoot out to a 3-1 victory.
That was one of those situations where that shock was thrown simply to cut you off from getting the revive. It was it had to be a misroll. I don't think there's any chance in hell he meant to roll from left to right there. But INZEM, I believe, and I can't tell if it was INZEM. I'd love to see a replay of that. He rolls from left to right, and he rolls throughout the entirety of the area of effect of the shock, which gives him that 2nd down. There was no way it was planned that way because it was thrown specifically on that right cover, thrown specifically to block you off from getting that revive. And it leads to a double down, leads to the extra kills. I mean, that was just a domino effect. Hive find themselves down 2 rounds in this one. And Noble, I mean, rolling at this point. They definitely have the momentum in this map number 1. Send 3 players over to E to go for that cap up there at the neutral. And they're going to continue to rotate around the map, I believe. As you can see, Hive pressing up 3 players into F. Gearries is going to mark a couple people out. They can decap there. And the 3 players from Noble are going to press over to the D hill. And I believe you'll see Hive use their shock in defense of this hill. Noey with Bulldog flashes out. There's the shock out. Oh my God, the shock from... Yo, Noble has the best shocks in the game. Don't at me.
It might. Okay? They might. That was a beautiful shock in the corner. I'm asking myself, what the hell happened to Hive shock? Because they had a great initial. They got what they wanted. A quick capture at F. even though they had the disadvantage of their home hill for a bit, they had nades and they had the height advantage, but they lost it all because of the shot that Noble threw, and that's another quick domination. 4-1 victory in favor of Noble. And you know, the way that they're playing, we may have you know, been wrong about the amount of time it was going to take for all of us to be wrong against the grain, Colin, when it comes down to predictions.
I mean, this has been picture perfect for Noble, though. That is two different like back-to-back rounds where the shock grenade has been the difference maker for Noble, and they were both perfect. That one, they landed on top of that pottery, and as it bounces over the top of it, it literally lands like one step off. It literally lands just on the back right corner. Instead of throwing it at the ground to have it bounce off of one of the walls, they throw it on top, so the second bounce takes it off that back corner, and it cuts them off from that wide area, that angling area that Noey was. Yeah, it forces you out. It forces you into the lanes that they can shoot you from. I'll be, if Noble throws a third shock to win 3 rounds in a row, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm finished. I don't even know how else to say
when it comes down to Noble, we can't be too surprised because this team, they love to use their brain and their teamwork to come out victorious. He will be able to dodge the shock thrown from Hive, and that gets the capture on the hill, but Lava springs into action, gets a quick kill. Noey has to disengage. He cuts back to see if he can get an easy one-shot on one of the pursuing players, but they don't make it that easy for him. So at this point, Noble is looking for 3 trip cap dominations in a row, but they know the F-kill is going to be a little bit harder. Hive, your playoff champions, they pick up a few kills to stay alive in this map number 1, as both squads are going to be sitting in a defensive position. Hive, they got the heals in which they want. It's going to be their opponent's home hill and F, but how are they going to defend against this home hill? They need to make sure they count numbers so that they are not fighting at a disadvantage over here.
Lashes out. Xysho will have the stun there on the backside, pushes through the middle of those 2 covers. We'll get the first kill. Back A there on a TJ. We'll set the second one down, and now off to the races. They're going to go to this F hill. They're going to try to settle this one up 5-1 and take out Hive in map number 1. And, I mean, there's no way Hive is going to come off a respawn and be able to stop this. Down to 1 second. There it is. Noble, they take map 1. They take it 5-1. And my God, what a trouncing there by Noble.
When it came down to that last fight, the defense at the home hill, Xysho was getting focused by the player in the back with the lance here. If you got your shotty out and you see your teammates drilling somebody, that's the first kill that needs to go down. You need to be able to focus fire in those 2v2s while you have that uphill advantage. But for Hive to come back in that map, it was gonna be an uphill battle. Noble had too much control in those last few rounds there. They found their win condition. They lock in map number 1, and now they take control of this series as they head into their map pick on training grounds.
And this is a scary sight for Hive. Hive needs to find it. They need to find it very quick because training grounds, as we have talked about in the past, has been one of Noble's best maps, if not their best map, because of the way that it can be played. I actually, I had somebody refer to it to me earlier. I'm trying to remember exactly who it was, but somebody in the stream earlier when I was playing, it said that training grounds can be one of the most toxic maps in Gears 5. And it's just because you have the Heaven, you have the Overlook. You've got so many angles to be able to lancer people out and basically just give them no room for wiggling coming out of that spawn. So Noble did such a fantastic job of playing up on Hive in map number 1, where you're going to see a lot of these right-hand angles, a lot of these 90 degrees, taking fights 2v1. They did such a good job of that, which is not their normal MO that we usually talk about and brag about when it comes to them, that I can only imagine if they get those kind of advantages on training grounds, how hard life might be made. One
thing that makes training grounds they're better map, Colin, is that we kind of talked about it on Foundation in our last series, that in both halves of training grounds, you have viable setups for your home hill and neutral and home hill overextension. So you get to decide, okay, well, in each half, which strategy do we like the most and how do we play around that? And when Noble are able to get into those setups and they understand those rotations perfectly, and they are decisive about which one they want to use to retake those setups and have to get through the Lancers and take the player out of God's spot, smoke out the guy on Heaven, distract the guy in Overlook to be able to make some big plays on this map. It can be toxic when every lane is shut down because you have a team like Noble who understands all strategies and have all lanes locked in because they know exactly how they want to win the map. So Hive, this is where they have to show their composure because they are about to enter a map that can get toxic for them just because of how good Noble is on it. Now, I said before at the beginning of the show that I think Hive is very good on training grounds, and they probably looked at this series and said, hey, we got this one in the bag. But they haven't made it easy on themselves, not taking their best map, I feel like, in Vasgar. So now they got to work on taking TG and getting themselves to exhibit. So far throughout the day, we've seen nothing but map threes, and a team who has won map number 1 has not won the series.
It has been a back and forth battle like that all day long. And Hive, let's see if they can continue to make this the day of map threes by winning map number 2. But this is going to be some tough sledding for them. I believe right now one of the things that we're going to see out of Hive, I'd like to actually see Hive try to, I don't want to say go back to the old ways, but maybe put down a power weapon at that U early, make it about a big team fight, try to get the things to work out, try to get those fights to work out in their favor early so that they can get their setups that they can then fall back on. The things that they were using to win those mid-split playoffs were those setups, those extra Lancer lanes. I'm not sure if it's going to take a power weapon, so to say, but it's going to be very interesting to me to see how these first couple of rounds play out, especially if Noble wins them, if Hive decides to make any drastic moves in the weapon placement category.
let me to piggyback off that as well. Hive's aggression, all right, Hive's aggression as individually skilled players forces teams to slow down sometimes, right? And they say, okay, well, how can we pick these guys off and play off their aggression? What makes Hive strong is once they have squads feeling like that and they got an early lead, they slow down and says, ha, now come push us, right? We got that early advantage throughout the round. So now since we understand our win condition, we know where to put our aggression on the map, where to take our numbers, which lanes are open for us to use the aggression to its fullest potential there in the mid game and in the late game because they worked hard early on. So, and that's something that makes Hive super strong. So I agree with you, Colin. As we head here to training grounds, they need to win some of these initial fights at the U. Win them mid-map if we see some flanks there. Hell, win them at the overlook. But if they get the early control, then Hive can force teams to play in their hand and they get to use their aggression properly.
As we see the fly-through start up and everybody about to be rolling out of spawn, I think one of the things that has to be taken account of is who decides to go over here. You're going to see INZEM actually take the top of the overlook. It's going to be a 2-2 at the top of the overlook. One player each and toss each other. Flashes out. INZEM is there. TJ's there at the top of the overlook. I'm not sure who's with him. It was INZEM, as a matter of fact. You're going to see Solurs actually pull back now. He could get pushed out here. Once again, Noble is winning these initials.
Yeah, man. You see, they take their right hand advantage and they use that to get overlook control. And now they were pressing towards their opponent's home hill, trying to get the decap. It is a 1v1 still being fought on the other end of the map, and this can quickly all turn in favor of Hive. With a quick capture at the B hill, does Hive want to overextend the map? But since they were pressed so far back on their side, they just need to worry about the 2-to-1 hill setup. Get neutral, get the home hill, lock in overlook, and then just kind of spread out. And we see them doing that there. Player 1 and 2 got the setup at the defense that they want to defend overlook, and the other 2 players have backed up to control mid-map, and now they're going to try to possibly maybe even get a player in God spot as well. But so far so good. Hive counting numbers, and you see the focus fire on Reptile. With him going down, Hive says, hey guys, we got the advantage, man. Do we want to end this right now? They're currently making that decision.
And one of the things that I think TJ has to be wary of when he's in that position is you see how TJ has to be able to mark those 2 players out. They have to check them because they have to figure out where this 4th player is going to come off a spawn and go. If they go for the over rotation, if they go for the full flood through that second half home, that second half neutral hill there at the U, they have to call it out. And look at the way that Hive decided to play it. They call out all 3 players. They back all the way up. They're up by 60 points, and they know that even if they lose the B hill at this point, it's going to be up to the side of Noble to get all the way to that home hill. This is a beautiful fallback setup.
Checking players are so important. And at this level of gameplay and with us playing 4v4 Gears of War, if you can check at least 2 members out there, you can, you know, have the knowledge and the foresight to predict where the other 2 may set up. And if you have a good player on your team like that who has that type of foresight, then it just makes your defensive setups even stronger. So far, Hive, they did a good job defending the A hill, counting the numbers, and fortifying properly. They will have a 2v2 fight at the home hill. Gonna lose 1 player. They lose the B hill, and this is where it gets scary, but INZEM takes out 1. You see the Lancer fire from Solurs and the pistol fire from INZEM. That takes out the 2 remaining players. We're gonna lock in round number 1 here for Hive.
Yeah, INZEM continuing to play wide. He continued to use those beautiful L triggers to get the shots on and get the damage out, so as they continue to get downs. It got harder and harder. Once they got that third tertiary down to get the down and out, they were able to get that kill. They were able to roll back and just snub out that last player. Again, the fallback setup for Hive was picture perfect, if you ask me. They went all the way back when they knew that Noble was going to flood through that U and that top overlook. They said, look, they're only sending 1 player to range. They're only sending 1 player over there. They might send somebody through the middle of the map, but we can roll all the way back, Lancer them all the way out. Even though Hive loses those early goings there at the overlook, if you notice, I think 2 or 3 players for Hive only have 1 death.
Yeah, they're playing their life and they're staying alive. And that just shows me that they're playing a little bit slower and they're being annoying with their angles, right? Utilizing that Lancer fire. And we talked about it early on with them playing off those early advantages. Now, Noble, that's a big kill for them. They got TJ in their sights as well as INZEM, but TJ, that shot that he just put on Reptile slowed down this entire push. His teammates able to get it down, but it turned into a 50-50 fight, but player 8 did flank. And that's going to allow Noble to win the fight. But the 2 remaining members of Hive has pressed out from both heavens, from their heaven to their opponents, trying to win this fight. Great effort there from that member of Hive, but it's looking like Noble, they're going to lock in their home hill and B hill behind. Barring Reptile don't clutch up, they're going to have a home hill. Big fight coming through. Gearries, TJ, and TJ wants it a little bit more.
TJ using that backslide to perfection, continuing to go down those stairs, continuing to keep that absolute picture-perfect distance, forcing that player to continue to miss. Yeah, you see Lava's going to Lancer him out and get the down, but already INZEM's back off of respawn, and Hive is right back to the offensive. They are right back in this. They're going to pressure Lava here at the top of the overlook. There's the down. There's the quick cleanup. Reptile's going to have a good shot on INZEM. TJ has to try to save him. They get the revive off. Now Reptile has to back out. He's not going to pressure up for either of those kills. Multiple downs coming out around the map. So far, nobody getting any solidified advantage. Hive will be able to go home to home, but this is going to be tough for Noey. Noey might find himself in a 2v1 very quickly against Gearries and I believe Xysho.
Trying to deliver some back A's as he's retreating, but he know he would not make it down that stairs with the angle that those players had, so he's gonna fall. Noble pressed up past the B hill. They're trying to get to their opponent's home hill, not putting much attention on top of B because they want to take their numbers, but Xysho needs to be more aggressive against one of the best defensive players we got in our league. And Solurs is buying himself time for help to come through. B hill was never captured yet. Now, I will like to say that this is going to be Noble on Hive's side of the map. Hive could play for the trip cap domination. It looked like it was coming through, but Noey needs to make sure he can take Xysho out. All he has to really do is go to the hill. Xysho will come to him. Now, his teammates need to win the fights in their separate lanes. They're going to lose the fight at B or win the fight at the home hill. And with 2 hills to their name, Hive is going to lock in their second round on map number 2.
Hive has answered back pretty succinctly. I think one of the things that people will lose sight of in this is just how good Hive has been at playing. How do I put this? I'm trying to think of the exact words I want to use so nobody misunderstands me. They are playing between Lancer and Nasher distance. And what I mean by that is they're forcing a lot of these L trigger battles. We saw it in the first round with INZEM right there at the end, where INZEM was using his L trigger to hit 3 or 4 pellets every shot, not doing but so much damage, but not giving Noble the comfort zone of pulling out a Lancer and being able to just shoot at him. He's also still close enough that they have to keep Dasher out. That last round, we saw it with TJ at the home hill, at the monument. He continued to use that backslide, continuing to left trigger out, continuing to use those hard aim shots. I think that's actually causing Noble to be very uncomfortable. They're not able to pull those Lancers and get that down and damage the way they were in map 1.
And, you know, that's them using shotguns as team fire weapons, right? Understanding their distance. And when you hit somebody with pellets, they can't regen their health, right? They need a certain amount of time not to take any single damage for them to get their health back. And Hive, they're playing that range very, very well. And as a unit, the blind fires, the L triggers, they hit a lot of pellets with those shotguns from afar. So their focus fire and speed is on point. And I agree with you, making Rebel feel uncomfortable with Xysho with a retro in his hand, defending a home hill, his back against the wall. He feels very comfortable in those positions, but did not have enough to win that 1v3, but did buy enough time for his teammates to possibly stop the trip cap domination. It's all going to be up to Lava. He chooses for the revive. Was it the right choice? It's going to prove to be it was.
Not going to be enough there for Solurs as he's going to go down. There's the cleanup by Gearries as well. 2-1 hill advantage still in favor of Hive, though. And it looks like they're going to send 2 players through the overlook side, 2 players down to B. Hive won't have somebody quick enough off of respawn, I believe, to help play defense at B. This is going to be interesting to see if they send somebody immediately into the hill, which they do. Good job by the side of Noble to try to get that decap. And Reptile might even have the ability to solidify his positioning there, get the retake off. They're still doubled down in points, so a decap could keep Hive in the lead here. Flash out up top. That's going to have a stun there on Gearries with a Lancer from behind. We'll have a lot of damage on a TJ. Shots over the covers. Not going to be able to get this down just yet. Gearries, he's going to be full red here at the top of the overlook. It's not going to be easy for him to get away from this as well, because you can see the retro is still there in that area. They're actually going to flash out and go after Xysho, who has, for lack of a better phrase, got abandoned at the back of the U.
Yeah, right? I think that's the best way to say it. He did get abandoned because Gearries, he booked it. Xysho, his other teammate at Heaven, really didn't have a play to save him because the members of Hive didn't have to sit there. They converged on him at the U. Now, Noey is able to take Reptile out of that God spot and going to help his teammate capture the hill. Lava goes down in Heaven, so he gets crossed out. And that's going to force a player to have to back up and revive him. Hive knew that. So now they are comfortable in their defensive position, but Gearries wastes no time trying to take over. But from afar, he was on his last down. INZEM can take him out with some of that long-range shotgun damage you were talking about, Colin.
I just, the way that INZEM has played this map, like it's MVP caliber level. I know both of us talked about how great Solurs is, but being able to witness the way this team has won Training Grounds so far, if Hive can come back into this and they can finish off Training Grounds, INZEM gets my nod right now for just best player on that team for this map, because everything he has done has been perfect. I have yet to see a mistake out of that kid in this map.
Man, oh man. You know, the best analogy that I could use, and I'm gonna get nerdy with it, okay? You know, most of INZEM's career, he was like a Vegeta, okay? He was super strong, all right? At the front, you knew that you can count on him to really kind of slay out and fight. But, you know, it took a few arcs before Vegeta was like, bro, I never trained before. I was just naturally good, okay? Like, I didn't do all the training that you boys did. And I feel like INZEM, you know, over that last offseason, he has taken his gameplay to the next level. And that makes him look a little bit more scary, because he was already scary before. But now it's not all power. He's got some calm to him. And he's got a team around him, and we'll see. We're already seeing how that has changed him as a player.
The M-bar was placed underneath the overlook. Reptilian's going to get the pick on it. They get a couple of downs, but no deaths, and the first kill will go way of Noble. So Hive is going to have to fight back against the tide here. They're up 3-0, so they have a comfortable lead in rounds. You just don't want to lose the last round of the first half, as that's a momentum shifter if I've ever seen one. See TJ trying to get shots on a Reptilian, try to get him down. Reptilian's going to go to top Heaven with the M-bar and try to find anybody to pick off. And this is a dangerous spot here. Reptilian can pretty much see all of the map except for that U, but there's no hill there, so it's not going to do you much good to be in that area. You're going to have to come out in the open. You're going to have to poke out where Reptilian might be able to get a shot on you to try to make anything happen.
All right. At a slow pace and with power weapons in their favor, this is where Noble feels extremely comfortable. Tried to take Noey's head off as he was switching shoulders. putting his focus on the top attention, on the top fight. Player 1 is keeping the M-Bar's head down, and TJ holding his own. You see he cuts back, dodges the shot. Reptile was predicting a cover slide, but now TJ on top of his opponent's home hill. Him versus Reptile. He goes down. INZEM with the wraparound. He wins the fight. Reptile does clean up the kill. But if you look at the mini-map, look at Hive's control. We haven't even reached the 150 mark. Can Rebel do anything about this? I'm not sure, Colin. As Hive look to take down Gearries, and Lava's going to be next on their hit list.
You're mine now, bitch.
I mean, I'm sitting here just in awe of what I just watched. Again, INZEM is getting my nod for this map. It's 4-0, 1 round away from tying it up 1-1. You talk about Vegeta having to get some of that extra training. I know he went inside that Capsule Corporation ball, put on the 100 Gs. He got to that Super Saiyan level eventually. And now I know in these later arcs in Super, he gets a little bit of training under Whis. That's what it looks like. This is the Vegeta we're seeing out of INZEM, because right there, he fakes the cover. He fakes the up A or even the wrap shot. That player knows that Solurs is coming to his right, so all INZEM does is just a little movement, a little head fake toward that cover. That player misrolls right into Solurs, and INZEM is so quick after the fakie, he goes right back to the top of the cover, one-shots him, sees that second player, sees that he's right there by the cover, hits him with the up A. Back-to-back kills are basically INZEM just knowing his positioning around one singular piece of cover and just absolutely playing them both like a villain.
Man, INZEM has so much faith in his teammates, man, and this entire squad of Hives just has so much camaraderie and brotherhood, and it is shown. It's the reason why they're your playoff champions. Now they spring into action to take out the player who picked up the power weapon. They got Xysho in their focus. He goes down, and that's 3 players out of here for Noble. Hive, do they make a play for the home hill now? Do they slow down? What is going through their head? And they have the composure, Colin. They back up just a bit. They want to see if Noble's going to give them enough room for them to win another team fight on their side of the map, but Noble takes their time. They play for the Lancer angles. Hive does not give them any free fights on their first half home hill, and they're going to set up in a 2-2 position. Let's see, how does Hive want to defend against this Noble push?
3 players are stacked up here for Noble. The smoke is out long to try to stop them from having any sight lines. TJ drops a shock, buys him 10 more seconds.
Then he backs up for a Lancer angle.
Oh my, like, yo, Noble, I love you. Chalk it. Go to map 3, dog. It's looking slow. It's looking slow.
TG, man. And Noble said, this is our best map, but I said, man, Hive is looking good here as well. You know, when it comes down to training grounds, now, Noble did manage to inch their way up to the Overlook. They know that it's probably going to come down to maybe 1, possibly 2 more team fights. So they got to make this engagement count. The flank comes through. Gearries gets a kill on TJ. He's going to get another on Solurs as well. So Reptile brings the Lancer angle to the forefront. INZEM is the next focus, but look at the damage he puts in. He knows that Myra, actually any of these players he can take out, but does not get the quick blind fire over the top of the cover. Great effort there from him. But what has his teammates done on the other side of the map? They circle around the D hill. They're going to fortify this. They says, hey, we can't press out to F. INZEM just lost his fight down low. They didn't get a player to flank through mid-map in time. So this is the final team fight of the round. Noble trying to make their way up, but TJ locking down the lower lane. You see the pressure. The battle's going to be won on the stairs as well. In Hive, they will fortify and swarm on these members of Noble, and they're going to lock this map number 2 in.
1 second later, without a doubt, that is a perfect map by Hive. 5-0. Just can't say enough. If it had been anybody else, I'd have done the same thing I did during the playoffs. I'd have said, get that player off the screen, put Solurs up there. Right now, that's the perfect player to have up there. James Dominic Phoenix. INZEM helps his squad win a 5-0 map number 2. It's tied up 1-1. Don't go anywhere. We got a map 3 right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, just like Onyx guard Vermello, Guy, Blaze, and I are still here guarding what is left of this matchup between Noble and Hive, as it is tied up 1-1. Noble looking to keep the, well, how do I put this? Noble looking to stop history from repeating itself and being the first team tonight to win map 1. yet come away with a series win. Noey and Hive looking to keep the old pages just turning.
Yeah, so far, man, the trend has been the squad that wins map number 1 does not win a series, and we're currently on our 3rd, and we're going to our 3rd map number 3 of the night. But Hive just put on a master class on how to play training grounds, and they showed us why they are the defending champions. Great way to bounce back against Noble. I think Hive was really stunned by the 3 rounds, the last 3 rounds in which they lost on Vasgar. Noble caught them off guard, made some big plays with the shot grenade to close out that series and take momentum. But Hive, they respond with an even better scoreline. And for them to have a better performance than Noble on Noble's best map, it just shows that was a statement that was like, all right, yeah, you thought you had us, but now you're going to map 3 and it's going to be on exhibit. So you got to work even harder than you did before.
And I'll be curious to see how this map is played out. There were a lot of times where Hive would win that initial and then be able to roll back, play back, and use those defensive setups to really just keep Noble on their back foot. And they didn't really know which way to go, which way was up, which way was down, north or south, east or west. They had no clue and no compass. They were up a creek without a paddle. And in this map, you'd think that Noble could kind of stalemate it out and play it kind of lengthy and use those shocks, use those incendiaries, because we know that those utility slots kind of get built up to try to get those AoE grenades onto the map to really force Hive to make maneuvers around the map. On the flip end, without a doubt, you're going to have to deal with a 1v1 upstairs. I don't know who's going to be playing that spot for Hive, but all 4 of those players are fantastic in a 1v1 spot. And down low, do you really want to open up any kind of angle or hallway for guys like Noey and TJ and INZEM and Solurs to try to bounce down and around and in your grill? This is going to be tough for Noble. I need to see their answer. I need to see them pull every trick and the kitchen sink out of both the kitchen, the bathroom, and any other kind of guest room they got and throw it at them.
So when it comes down to that 1v1 position, that's definitely going to be INZEM up top. And I think it's a battle between INZEM and Lava, if I'm not mistaken. So we're definitely going to see him press the envelope against that squad and really apply pressure and see what Lava's going to let him get away with. So that's going to be nice to watch. But down low, as you said, the trio of TJ, Noey, and Solurs, that's a good combination of players to have. But on the flip end, Gearries, Xysho, and Reptile, that's a nice slaying core. That is the slaying core here of Noble. So that's going to be a headbutt battle. Now, one thing about Exhibit, since our meta is building up secondaries, getting Retro Lancers on the map, getting Hammer Burst on the map, and these utility grenades, the squad that can get their Retro Lancer down the quickest and to be able to kind of place themselves at that mid hop over, we'll be able to control these lanes. And we've seen slower paced teams punish squads for being too aggressive. It just comes down to Noble understanding the clear boundaries of offensive and defensive end. When it's time for them to spring into action and that they're not hesitant and they take the battles that they need to fight. On the flip end, be Noble, pull out the Lancers, the secondaries, and be the defensive squad and be that brick shield that you need to be, or you're going to be taking bricks from Solurs all game.
Solurs, my God, you'd have thought the devil went down to Georgia because Solurs just played both of them like a fiddle, baby. My goodness gracious.
That's experience.
Without a doubt. And Reptile, he's going to rotate up here toward the top with Lava. They're trying to find where this push from Hive is coming from. And Hive is doing the exact same thing they did on training grounds. They're playing back, they're playing defense. They said triple caps are good, but 2-to-1 hill captures are twice as nice because it puts the pressure solely on you to make a move late in game. But another mistake from Noble puts them in a position now where they got to scramble. They got to get to a hill sooner rather than later as the kills come through. The hills are getting capped up. Solurs is going to dance around inside me and tap dance on some gravestones while he's at it. I don't know if it's an Irish jig, but I can certainly hear the drummers from up the top of the mountain, baby. They strike first in map number 3.
Man, those blowpipes are definitely blowing right now, all right?
Bagpipes?
And that round
bagpipes?
number 1.
The bagpipes?
Those bagpipes are definitely blowing. Yeah, blowpipes, I said, yeah.
Hey, look, where I come from, they're bagpipes. I don't know, Blaze. They could have some blowpipes.
They are bagpipes. They definitely bagpipes. Oh, man. But, hey, good job to Hive there in that round number 1. And more importantly, you see Solurs, 3 kills, 1 assist to his name. No deaths whatsoever across this Hive roster. Let's see if they can have another perfect round.
Here comes off spawn. Boltox out by both teams. Solurs will mount up. He'll get some shots there onto Gearries. You see already Noble trying to go into the B hill, trying to force out the first move from Hive. They're trying to make them get out of position and possibly get killed. Reptile is down. Now it's a 4v3 effective on the map. 2 players for Hive, mounted up inside of the B hill. Noey had the Boltock in hand, puts it away, and it looks like they're going to pressure up TJ and Noey down this small alleyway against Xysho. Xysho bouncing around, using a lot of good movement, gets a lot of damage, but won't be able to find it down one way or the other. Solurs is going to help finish off that kill. They're going to be able to get this hill right back in their favor quite quickly.
Now Lava is trying to be the aggressor up top, but you see how INZEM backs up because he knows that his teammates on the other end of the map. So he wants to make this the hardest possible battle for Lava to be able to overextend. But even, you know, INZEM gets a little extra Lancer fire from across the map and help from his teammates. And you see another flawless, perfect round for Hive, because I do not believe anyone died once again.
Could use some help.
I'm trying to think of
2 perfect maps back to back. No way. No way Hive is that composed now. That they're going to get 2. They just got a clean 5-0 in map number 2, Colin. And now they're in map number 3. They're off to 2 perfect rounds. No way they will win this without dying.
No, there's no way they're not going to have any deaths throughout this map. Like, there's no shot not one of them dies. But, like, just the fact
I think 3 rounds in a row is impressive.
Dude, Xysho and Reptile have 4 apiece with nobody on the side of Hive having one. So I'm a little bit off kilter right now, Blaze. We'll figure it out. All right, we'll figure it out. I feel like I got jaw-jacked by a horse, man. I snuck up behind one. It feels like he kicked me right in the jaw. Caught
you off guard. Well,
I swear to God right now.
Well, while Colin takes care of his whiplash, we are currently seeing TJ go down mid-map, double downs. The focus fire is there. Surely this is the round for Noble. They get these kills. And the cleanup is there. The focus fire comes through. Noey is picked up. Solurs is next on their hit list, and Noble will be able to win this team fight. Good job to them. They put that Retro Lancer to good use, and they capitalize off that confidence and aggression of Hive. But I don't know if they're going to get another initial like that. They need to make the most out of this one that they have.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I think Noble actually saw the scoreline themselves, and they're like, I don't care if we give up both hills. I don't care if we give up all of the positioning. Kill one of them. Kill them like the insects we should treat them like, because they are Hive. They're, you know, bees, insects, whatever. Look, I'm going for anything at this point, because right now I'm still just flabbergasted. Hive is going to go for a retake here. Flashes out. Reptile's going to pressure up. Goes for a little bait and switch. A little red. TJ trying to play back. Still playing the angle. A lot of picture-perfect shots by TJ. Will have the down on Reptile. TJ's going to bounce toward the B hill and now bounce into it. There's the bleed out. 4v3 effective on the map. Xysho's getting Lancered out. He's going to have the retro on his back. Target acquired from across the map. He's going to get Lancer just a moment. And again, TJ playing the wide angle. Blaze, if Xysho had gone down right there, I was going to say that's bad news bears. That's a possible triple cap coming in, because that's the retro
especially with the speed of those 2 players that was hunting him down. As soon as he goes down, it's going to be another quick 2v1, and Hive would understand every single win condition. The win condition, a perfect one in that moment. But hey, they just got 2 kills. So what is that going to be? They know that Xysho's going to be by himself in this lane. Xysho cannot run away. The exit is too far, and he goes down. So that's 3 kills in quick succession. INZEM knows that he needs to back up and be the most annoying player in this lobby defending the home hill, as Reptile is trying to charge his way. But INZEM is going to get a little extra help, and now Reptile may be out of position. Does he make it back? Barely. With the help of his teammate, he gets there.
He gets there, but I mean, going backwards is not going to help you in this situation. 2:35 with 5 seconds to go. Nobody anywhere near the C hill whatsoever. They got kills. Noble found kills, and they found an early point advantage, but they could not find a round yet in maps 2 or 3 thus far. That's 8 rounds in a row. Hive is, oh my God, INZEM hasn't died.
Okay, so that's just INZEM playing his life up top. You know, he doesn't have to do much. His squad mates down low got the job done. And, you know, they just want 1 death apiece in that round, but they still come out with the victory. So That's the takeaway there. It was a great retake from them. And you know, with the first 2 rounds, they had a lot of confidence, right? And they get aggressive on Noble. They go for the quick capture at B. They get crossed out. They lose the initial, but Hive, they corrected on those mistakes on the second, on the first retake of the round, and they didn't die again. So curious to see how they're gonna play this one. Noey's up top. He pushes it out right away. Did anyone see him? Because him and INZEM are attached hip to hip.
Sit down on the Noey. There's the quick revive. INZEM is right there as well. They get the decap at the home hill of Noble. Noble has the B hill, but it looks like Hive is kind of throwing a monkey wrench in there. They've gone home to home. They got the decap. Noey's he's playing around with that retake. He's just threatening it for now. You see the decap coming through with the B hill here momentarily. And Hive might actually get this retake off. Here comes a flash. They're not going to get the retake. They're just going to get the decap for now. Triple captain being threatened. Nobody's getting the kill on the map whatsoever. Up A from Reptile after the shot doesn't really connect, but the melee certainly does. Gets the down on TJ. Solurs is down as well. That's 3 dead for Hive, and this should be the retake. INZEM, get out of there. Save your perfect life. Save your score. Leave, INZEM. Don't die. Yes, leave. God, come on, INZEM. Yes, run away!
Oh, Lava needs one more shot. INZEM gets the down to cut back. He dodges Gearry. His health comes back as well. And INZEM is fighting for his life.
I'm literally rooting for INZEM at this point. I don't want INZEM to... No, you don't leave that camera. You go back to INZEM. There we go. We stay here until INZEM dies or Hive wins.
I'm with it.
This is amazing. This man fought a 2v1 for about a minute and a half and didn't die. He's going to go back up top, and all he's going to do is point out where people are coming from. Lava's going to come upstairs. I believe another player is going to be... Nope, they're going to go back downstairs. So the retake will come through the bottom. I think we can leave if we want, please. But I'm so shocked. No, we're in this now? We're in this now?
No, right. He deserves this.
All right,
the way that he's played these last 2 maps, he deserves just all the camera time.
Flash. Lava's going to try to use another utility to kill him. He doesn't get the stun. He does get some full redness on him. INZEM. Oh my God!
The pressure. Like, see, that's the thing. Even when pressure is applied to him, he knows how to be the most annoying player in the lobby, play his life, make it difficult for his opponent to have to choose between fighting him and fighting the objective. He locks in another kill. Gets the meat shield. No. Oh, he stays alive and remains perfect throughout the map.
This is the greatest thing I have ever witnessed in Gears Esports. INZEM has played the 1v position so perfect he's not died. He's won a 2v1 on stream, so you can't even tell me that he's playing scared, he's playing timid. He literally took a 2v1 at his opponent's home hill. He's swinging that thing around, Blaze. He's just backhanding.
He's giving us a master class on how to play the 1v1 position on Exhibit, and we know how important that is. And as we continue to watch him, because I really don't care about the fight down low at this point.
Let's go.
As we continue to watch him, pay close attention to how he applies pressure when his team needs him to, and how quickly he makes that decision, and also his disengagement. Making it difficult for his opponent to retake this up top lane, forcing his teammates to really understand, okay, guys, they're not coming this lane because I got to lock down. Just guard the lower 2 routes and we'll be okay, especially if they have the lead. Now, we see him and his opponents across the map. He knows that Lava's pushing up and he hasn't moved just yet. So Lava doesn't even know where INZEM is, especially playing this Myra. Lava gets that game right there. The secret man played perfectly from INZEM.
God, please, let's oh, never again will anybody nobody's gonna be able to talk smack about INZEM rest of split. You can't say anything. If he goes perfect right here, it's over. Just, if you talk anything about Hive, you can talk about any other player. INZEM is off the board.
You can't talk about INZEM. He's off the board for like the entire Pro League split, right? Split 2. You can give him criticism during the Pro League. But my man has evolved into a different beast coming off his first playoff win. And sometimes it just takes for you to get your best placing, right? Get over that hump. And when you get that type of victory and you overcome that type of adversity, it changes you as a player, right? So, and we're seeing that currently in INZEM, and we're seeing the type of beast Hive is about to turn into. Hell, call them B-Drill at this point, because at the end of the day, man, this Hive squad, they lost their best map 5-1 against Noble, and their backs was against the wall. And then they have came out and responded to 2 perfect back-to-back maps. And Noble has not been able to do anything about it whatsoever.
It's going to have to be a picture-perfect retake. It's going to be a last chance lance from the side of Noble.
His teammate.
1 down already. They're going to continue to roll back and play. I mean, they're over 200 points. It's going to come down to a triple decap and a triple retake by the side of Noble. They get the second hill. 2 shots left of the Boltok for Xysho. They're pushing up. INZEM has another down. INZEM is actually pushed up top. So INZEM can take a secondary push. He's getting stuck up on. Oh God, Gearries is gonna get him. Gearries is gonna get him.
No, he won't.
No,
no, he won't.
No, he won't. No, no.
Oh, just a few more seconds INZEM for the perfect game. But instead, Gearries is gonna join his teammates in the fight. The E-Hill gets decapped. But Hive said, you know what, Lenny, you did enough. We'll close it out here. Solurs picks up the kill he needs. Lava's gonna have to hop over to stop this one. He takes the long route, the home hills decap, and in the end, Hive puts on a perfect comeback.
Gearries, you're my least favorite player on the planet right now. God, you ruined perfection. You ruined it. Oh. Yeah, TJ gets the MVP. Who cares? INZEM died. None of this matters. This whole map is a wash. I don't, like, jeez Louise.
In the final few seconds right there, Lenny dies, but in the end, Hive has the perfect series, and it was a team effort across the board. We had a lot of fun watching him there in those 1v1 positions, but when it all came down to it, the efforts of his teammates down low, fighting for control of the B-Hill, winning those team fights ultimately did win Hive the round. But man, Lenny played his position perfectly, and Hive as a unit played those 2 maps flawlessly.
I have no words other than to echo what you've been saying. INZEM literally put on a clinic, and he put people in a clinic at the same time. He literally was like, hey guys, this is how you play this spot perfectly. And while I'm at it, Noble, you might want to take notes, because I'm going to continue to embarrass your players coming off a respawn. There's no way in that situation that he should be able to live that long for that many lives against those caliber of players, but he does it.
Yeah, he does. He does, man. Now my question is that what the hell does Noble need? Come off a 5-1 victory on Hive's best map, Vasgar, where they're the swarm team, and to not win a single round for the rest of the series. Like, where did it go wrong for Noble? Because we talk about all 4 of these players and how good they are and how talented they are and how smart they are. But what is it? And, you know, I got an answer, and Colin, you might not like my answer, but I think Noble needs some vibes. They need somebody who know how to bring the vibes, man, and get them out of some difficult situations, an emotional leader or something. Someone who can hype them up and clearly decipher what their advantages are. And because that was a steamroll there from Hive, and Noble from map number 2, after winning map number 1 5-1, it just looked like they never was going to come back in it.
It looked like they were. I'm still at a loss a little bit. I think the things that we can take away from that is it really Hive kicked it into a different gear with the way they were able to angle out a lot of those players from Noble. Noble is good when they can get you to kind of play their game, get you to play their pacing. If they want you to play shotgun, you'll play shotgun. 2 maps in a row, we saw Hive use that distancing to perfection, those L triggers, that basically keeping you just outside of Nasher range or out of Gib range and keeping you just inside of Lancer range, so you can't really pull that favorite weapon of yours. And I think one of the things that we can fall back on, I actually got to see it in those first couple of rounds, and I know if people go back and watch the VOD, they'll be able to see it. Noey inside of that B hill, for a while he had the Boltok out, he would switch over to the Nasher and push up with TJ. But when he has the Boltok, that's basically the perfect weapon for a guy like Noey. When you're that fast, when your movement is that precise, Noey has the ability to hit you with 1, maybe 2 Boltok shots, get that extra bounce off, go for the quick switch, and then all he has to do is hit a few pellets. And if he's not being pressured with the Boltok out, then you see Noey literally hit somebody. There's 33 damage. There's 36. There's 66% damage. If he's got an active, I've seen him 2-shot headshot people before, and I think I saw him do it once on that map. So Noey with the Boltok in those early rounds makes that play style of Hives that much more dangerous. The way that they want to use that kind of distance against you, where it's a little bit inside of that Lancer range, you don't get to use that as well, and it's just outside of that Gib range where you're forced to either try to push forward or you have to.
Combat.
I mean, it's picture perfect. They are playing a completely different game from most other teams right now, and it's been proven when they played against Pittsburgh Knights in that grand finals and when they played these first 2 matchups in Pro League.
Mastering that mid-range combat, getting out some of that initial early damage to give them the extra confidence that they don't really need in those close quarter fights, but it just makes it a lot easier on the squad as a whole. And when it comes down to movement, all 4 of those players have mastered it. So this Hive squad is a threat, and you can never count them out. You're going to have to play them out to the final round until you put these boys away. If not, they know that they can come back on you. They got the confidence in each other, which is most important to make those comebacks. So congratulations to Hive for coming out victorious and staying undefeated so far in the Pro League.